It's recording.
Cool. You guys thirsty?
I am. I'm going to do a little housekeeping. Give a shout out to one of our sponsors.
Okay.
And give us the intro.
Yeah, and everything has to be done with the mic, baby.
No doubt.
I'm a wee bit slow, but it gets there.
We'll be starting this thing tomorrow night.
Ooh, that's
lovely.
Cool. Or something. Da, 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 da. Thanks.
Oh shit, I forgot how I was going.
I think it's the pace of a snail. An adolescent snail.
Keeps me in line.
Yeah. Fellas,
Guys,
Cheers, boys.
is out and about.
cheers.
Out and about.
Out and
It's out and
about.
about. Pick that bad boy up.
Oh yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, so here we
Kill
go.
it, the music, or
Yeah.
just put it on low, or
Kill the music.
yeah, probably a good idea.
Oh, sounds so good.
That's beautiful.
Dude, when I'm sailing, one time, most times, every time, I just like kill the engine and just like coast. And just let them hear the silence.
It's gotta be nice.
That's gorgeous. Yeah. Oh my God.
That's what this
I felt
is.
that.
So everybody, shut up. This
Yeah,
is not a
yeah.
podcast. We're gonna shut our mouths.
Well, let me do a little housekeeping and an intro. 3, 2, 1. I am talking now. Go. Hello. Welcome to Out and About. I just want to give a little shout out to our sponsor. We are out on the road in an RV for 60 days, and it gets pretty smelly. We get pretty dirty. We only stay at a campsite with water and showers and stuff probably once every 3 nights. We need to stay clean, and the best way to do that is with Beauty Counter. It sounds like a chick product. Well, they have the Counterman line.
I saw that.
Yeah, Counterman line, and I use the charcoal body wash, and
Used it tonight.
feels,
Fantastic.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels incredible, and
We
we
all
brought
smell a
some
little bit better tonight.
face. Yeah, it
Just
smelled
a
a little good.
bit better,
A little
not
bit
much.
better. But it's actually free of 18 harmful chemicals that most cleansers and body washers and things like that, shampoos use, including formaldehyde. Do you know what formaldehyde is?
I've heard of
I
it.
do not. Please inform me.
It is used, it's a substance that is used on dead bodies.
Yikes.
Yes, at the morgue.
Oh,
to make
wait, I've
sure-
seen this on Law and Order or something like that.
To make sure that they look good for, like, keep them stiff and, like, looking good for, the wake.
Okay.
I don't want that in my shampoo or conditioner.
Is this still an
body
ad?
wash. Yeah, it is. It's pretty
This is
gross.
the best one I've ever heard.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a good-
convinced
it's
I
a
should
good-
not be
yeah.
using formaldehyde in
Yeah,
my soap.
exactly. If people only knew. So yes, thank you to Camille Cody, or actually Camille Campbell, our beauty counter
Keeping us beautiful.
lady. And
Official title,
yeah,
lady.
official title, Camille Campbell, beauty counter lady. Thank you for keeping us beautiful. And let's get into it. I am Nico,
And I'm Will.
I'm Jack.
and this is Out and About, and we are finally out and about. We are chilling in Cherry Grove.
Yeah, where is that?
West Virginia.
Is it on the map?
In the middle of nowhere.
There's definitely mountains.
Yeah, there's mountains. Oh, we're in the Appalachians, I
This is
believe.
dope. This is
Yes.
dope.
Some, yeah.
We're in an RV
have
park.
not confirmed, but yeah, probably.
We're in somewhat of an RV park. There's 2 other RVs here, and it's real hidden. Like, this is real backwoods.
hidden gem.
But it's gorgeous.
Dude, if it's not rain tomorrow, I'm flying the drone and we're going to show you this place.
It's-
Because the ups and downs of those mountains when we were driving, oh my gosh.
It was gorgeous.
When we were
It was-
coming in, going down that hill, though, when that first bout of fog came, like,
Yeah.
we just we were going into the abyss.
Yeah,
like
you
I
went
didn't know.
blind out of nowhere.
You remember, I was like, what is that? Is that rain? You're like, dude, that's fog.
That's
like,
fog,
I was like,
amigo.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, God.
You've sailed way worse on the high seas, though. I mean,
Not that foggy, dude. You didn't see it
We
all.
Yeah.
lost. You're losing sight going up and down mountain roads. So like
Yeah.
it's even
and
scarier.
this thing too. Like I
In
mean,
a-
it's
yeah, in a
it's
bus.
absolute tank.
It is a
Right.
tank.
Right. You got to have whatever 20 psi with your
Check
foot.
that tire pressure.
Yeah, well, I was saying like pressure of your foot onto the brake pad, because it was like, damn, you got to really push down.
I was thinking
Yeah,
you gotta have balls of steel to drive in these conditions.
That is one of the things though about driving this baby is the brakes. That is by far the biggest thing you got to get used to. I don't know about you. I mean, it was baptism by fire for me when Nico was just like, "Hey, bud, you're driving." After we had our little send-off shindig, and I was like, "Oh shit,
I
here
was
we go."
so hungover, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And I wasn't.
I masked it as like, all right, I'm letting him out into the wild.
Yeah.
This is where he grows up, right here.
The last thing I heard that night was I walked into Austin's house and he was like, "You want shots?" And it was just you and him
Yep.
taking shots.
Yeah, that'll happen. Yep.
But you learned. I actually took this thing through the Rockies twice on the way to Aspen,
Yeah.
and going down those hills. I mean, those ones are long and steep,
Yeah.
and it's my cousin was like, "Hey," because I was in the RV alone. But when
Yeah.
we'd stop, he'd be like, "Hey, don't use the brakes so much because they'll get overheated and explode." And I was like, "What's the alternative? Like not brake?
Just-
Go off the mountain?
Just huck it.
yeah."
Fucking send it.
I was like, "What about when I need to stop?" Like what kind of advice is that? But
Oh,
that's
boy.
I guess you're not supposed to sit on the brakes going up and down mountains for any car.
An extended period of time.
Yeah,
This is news to me.
Which seems like we're just keeping like going up and down these mountains. Just kind of keep your foot on the brakes the whole time.
I did pedal to the
I did
metal.
too.
Yeah.
Like, get through it as fast as you can. That's my motto.
Oh yeah. Well, today's our first real day out in the wild.
Is it
It feels good.
for all three of us?
I
Yeah,
think
we went through the
this-
Midwest.
This feels like
Okay.
the first official.
I'm loving you guys are saying that, because like when I was talking about this trip, I'm like, I'm so excited to go east, right?
Yeah.
Northeast, and now I know I didn't miss anything.
I mean, the Midwest has plenty to offer, but we've lived there our whole lives.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
we've seen what it has to offer.
You're in
Look, I
Columbia.
mean, Nico's hometown is a shithole, but
It's got it's an armpit.
I-
Like,
About Olathe?
no, Springfield,
I
Illinois.
thoroughly
Okay,
enjoyed
Springfield.
Springfield, and we had great hospitality. The horseshoe, like we talked about on the last pod, absolute must to die for.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Literally, you will die because it's a heart attack.
It's a heart attack on a plate. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
But I figured out how to make a keto version of it.
Wait, what are we talking about?
A hamburger horseshoe is it's like what Springfield's famous for. Like the Food Network has gone there a bunch
Okay.
of times, and like
It's
bunch
a
of
thing,
people.
man. Look it up on the
It is
internet.
Hamburger.
Listen to the pod.
I will.
Yeah. Aren't you a
I'll be
fan?
editing some of it.
Yeah. So it's 2 pieces of Texas toast, 2 hamburgers, or you can have buffalo chicken, you can have
Okay.
veggies, you can have a bunch of different meat.
There's
Heart attack,
science
yeah.
to
I
it.
hear it.
But hamburger's the original.
Yeah.
Covered in fries and then covered in a house cheese sauce.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Do we-
it's,
do we
So
it's-
you
dare
gotta
tell-
dig to find the burger, basically.
But you like eat it all at once. You cut
Yeah,
into it,
yeah.
and I always put ketchup on mine. I got the buffalo chicken,
Yeah.
but I spent most of my life getting the hamburger,
Yeah.
and it's the cheese that makes it.
Do we dare tell the listeners what the meal was tonight?
I think we do talk about
Yeah,
this.
I
That's a
mean-
great transition.
Yeah. Dude, this is I love this, and Will's just being.
I've just been giving him
baby
shit,
about
but
it. So I bought like 15 cans of chub mackerel. Now I'm not sure what the chub part means.
Every time
can-
you say chub, I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
that sounds
come on, man.
horrible, but mackerel is legitimately good for you.
Super good.
But when you say chub, I'm like, chum bucket?
yeah, it's straight. It's what they serve at the Chum Bucket, folks. If you don't know, that's what they serve.
You know what? They never gave plankton a chance. Like, because this stuff
It's
is
true.
good.
Dude.
Anyway, I bought 15 cans of this chub mackerel.
What,
Mackerel's
can I ask you something? What was the reaction from the grocery attendant? Well, if there was one, what was it? Was self-service?
Ordered it on Amazon.
Oh my god!
I cannot
man.
possibly buy that much chub mackerel at one location. There's
Gotta
no
buy
way.
that shit in bulk.
Yeah, I'd have to. That'd be like, when you're like 16, you're buying condoms. You like don't look at the attendant. You're like, yeah, whatever. It's cool. Did you say no?
No.
Yeah. All right. But anyway, we had chub mackerel and sweet potatoes from the air fryer. We threw it all in there. Little
That
red pepper.
Yeah, the little red pepper goes a
That
long
was
ways.
nice.
Yeah.
That was real nice.
And
Excellent
then,
addition.
I did the most American thing and covered it in cheese and hot sauce.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I did. I really. I don't like covered in cheese. I put a little
Yeah.
bit, like just to get some consistency. But
Yeah.
I
But,
did mayo and a little barbecue tangy like marinade.
it sounds good.
It was good.
Straight out of the air
Dude,
fryer, folks.
mayo though with mackerel or sardines or tuna or just some fish is a solid combination.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I used to always do mayo and tuna with hot sauce
Yeah.
in college. Like that's how I survived.
Good
You've
lord.
been eating pretty keto. Have you been keto before?
Yeah, I did 6 months of keto.
Okay, that makes so much sense.
Before I left for Costa Rica.
That makes so much sense. 'Cause
With
I was
the-
like,
yeah.
Nico's pretty keto, and he ate an avocado this morning, and then, well, we had smoothies, but then you had all this sardines and mackerel,
And almonds.
and you had almonds.
You
But
put
yeah.
2 and 2 together, and God, you're keto, man.
But I also noticed you weren't eating, like, frequently. Like I feel like I'm just thinking about when I'm gonna go open that cabinet of nuts.
Yeah.
We have
And that's
Oh
a
shit,
problem
are
for
we
me,
gonna
but-
start? Are we starting with the fasting on Monday?
I'm into that. Yeah, I think we need more things on this trip that can be done, like experienced. Other people can experience, and a fast is something that we could share.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you can do this on your own as well.
What's the longest you've ever fasted?
By definition, I was doing coffee in the fast,
Yeah.
and think what you want about that, but I did 2.5 days.
2.5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the longest I've known is 72 hours,
Same.
and
Yeah.
you know,
wanna-
after
yeah.
so day 1, it's like hour 14 through 18 that it's kind of rough, or maybe
Yeah.
12 through 16. You're like, shit, like
It was
I
like 2
want
o'clock
some
in the
food.
afternoon.
Once you get past that hump, you're like, I'm not even hungry anymore.
But what are you doing to make yourself not feel hungry?
I mean, I kind of still keep my same routine and just like be mentally tough and fight through that.
I
hunger
drink a
there for-
ton of water
Well, yeah.
and I cry for hours at a time.
Dude, you need electrolytes. You need to try these electrolytes and do it while you're fasting. This trip, let's check it out, see how you feel.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think you'll
I'm
feel
always
better.
down for
It'll
electrolytes.
change your life.
You know what? You know what I really want to do on this trip?
Yeah.
Is I want to attempt a 5-day fast.
Wow.
Ambitious.
Sandy did it in
Sans-
Korea. I did like 7 3-day fasts when I was in
Yeah.
Bali. I was doing them once a
Okay.
week.
Subtle brag, bro.
Yeah, that's super not so.
What are you in Bali or what?
Butch part of that. Yeah, yeah. God, I'm awesome. But yeah, I'd like to try like an extended fast during 1 week.
Yeah.
Well, power
You've got
to you.
plenty of opportunity here.
Yeah.
I do to not. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna finish the food that I have.
Dude, look at these cars leaving. I didn't think anybody was going to leave this late.
Yeah, there are 3 cars. There's like a tent area and an RV area here. And it's all along this river, and we're like deep in the mountains. Like the river's like, you could probably hear it in the background maybe, but it's
They're-
like 10 feet away from us. But
I'm thinking those guys were in the tents.
But
so
it's like
they probably
9
were not about all this
What time is it?
rainy
I
weather.
gotcha. It's like 9.
like 9
8:30?
o'clock,
8:30?
8:30, and they're leaving the campground.
I mean, that
which
river's
seems
been climbing since we got here, but luckily this thing's
a
not only a
pontoon.
land pontoon, it works on water too, folks.
Yes, rumors have it that we can take this on water.
The
We have yet to
SS
test
Ric
it.
Flair.
What do you think the SS is for? What is an S? What does SS stand
Yeah,
for?
tell us,
Shoot,
please.
dude, I don't know, man. I'm from
You're
Kansas.
a freaking
Yeah,
boat
but you're a
captain.
boat- I
You
thought
don't
that
know
was
what
like a boat
SS stands for? Check, Google this shit and come back to us.
And what is Social Security number?
Social
No,
Security.
just SS.
Yeah.
Social Security. Social Security Ric Flair.
I feel like
That's the
I
name
should
of the
know
boat.
this too.
SS.
I've got
I feel like it's sailing something. It's sailing something.
Samsonite.
Oh,
I was way off.
It's right on the briefcase. Very nice.
But dude, let's go back to this fast. It means steamship.
Oh,
Steamship?
that makes sense. I mean, this is a steamship.
That means
are we running off
you
steam?
run on steam propulsion.
Oh, well, this is a steam, like,
We got a generator. That
Yeah.
runs
yeah,
off
there we go.
something.
Yeah, it runs off of something. So back to the fast.
Yeah. For anybody listening, tell us in the comments, like, what do you guys want to hear about Nico's journey as he does the fast? Like, what does he do to keep occupied? Because we're obviously in a really small space and all the cabinets are filled up with food, so you're just going to be thinking about food.
Yeah.
There's like 5 books on board, or are you just
We
going to go
need to
walk?
expand our library.
Yeah.
I will say that.
I'm
Well,
into-
I have some audiobooks downloaded, so I'll probably listen to those, walk. I guess the hardest part will just be, like, being in here. But it's a test of mental
in
fortitude.
here.
Because, like, when we're stopped, I can be outside. I don't have
Yeah.
to look at
I
this.
imagine you're going to be like pretty lit and be like, I'm going to shut this.
Yeah, we should shut the door. It was nice for a little bit, these
Well,
bugs.
I legit think you're going to be like, hey guys, let's do a podcast. Like, let's do something else.
I'm going to
Like,
have some extreme energy after the 72-hour mark.
Dude, I went on a run at the towards the tail end of the 72-hour one. I got like 3 miles into it and like had been dying during these 3 miles, and then all of a sudden just this crazy burst of energy and just like felt so alive and just like pure dopamine release, you know, like runner's high but on fucking steroids.
What pace were you running?
I mean, not fast.
Were you like, was it a jog?
Yeah, it's
Was it a jog?
I'm fast.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
No, it was like like probably 8.5 minute pace.
So jog is like a long twitch exercise,
Yeah.
meaning that it runs off of carbohydrates. It's not extreme, but it's not walking.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, your body's running off of glucogen. No. Glycogen. Yeah, glycogen.
Is this the food
That's-
science major in you right here?
This is actually, it's running off of glucose. Glycogen is the form,
He's a scientist,
the
folks.
stored form of glucose. But glucose is what what your body creates when you eat carbohydrates, and it's a form of energy that most people's body runs off of, unless
Yep.
you're on keto or like some high fat protein diet. And so there are certain exercises that actually run off of glucose, and there are other ones that run off of fat. So if you lift heavy weights, that is, or go on
Long endurance, right?
long walks, maybe
On the beach.
yeah, or on the beach. It's something that's not getting your heart rate like crazy up there. That's something that runs off fat. So if you like walk every morning, if you're trying to burn fat, walk every morning on an empty stomach. You know what I mean?
It's super easy.
Yeah, because you're either
Mm.
dipping into your stored calories in your liver, or you're slowly at a very, very slow pace burning stored body fat.
Dude, I could do that. I'm down for that on this trip. Do intermediate fasting and then walk every morning and be like, how do you feel afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's incredibly good for you as well. I mean the benefits of fasting. Fasting is just another, like, keto is just another way of doing fasting. They have the same effect on your body.
Oh, yeah. I'm really looking forward to doing all these hikes and trying to find the highest peaks. So for those that don't know, we're near Spruce Knob, which is the highest point in West Virginia. And we're planning on doing that hike here probably, hopefully if it clears up. I'm down tomorrow, but it might be a little, conditions might be a little rough. So
It kind of blows my mind that Spruce Knob is the highest point, because we're in the Appalachians, aren't we?
yes.
I believe I saw that Spruce Knob is only
Jamie?
like 49.
Yeah, who's our fact checker?
Jamie. I believe Spruce Knob is like just under 5,000
Yeah,
feet.
it's 4,600.
I think it was like 48 something, but it's
Okay.
but as far as like highest point in a mountain range.
Yeah.
Well, where did the Appalachians stretch across multiple states? So
I
I'm sure it's not
mean-
the highest point in the Appalachians, right?
It's 4,863 feet.
Well done.
Highest point in the state of West Virginia.
There we go.
I wonder what the highest
And the
point
highest
in
peak
Appalachians.
in Allegheny Mountains.
Yeah, that's where we are. The Allegheny Mountains.
Allegheny.
All right. Take me back to my kindergarten, grade school days where I was told I'm not very good at spelling.
Take me back. Oh, that reminds me. We drove into West Virginia yesterday and just absolutely blared, "Take me home." Wait, what is it? Country
Did we
road.
even play it? I'm sorry.
Take me home.
You were tuned out, man.
Where was I?
I
was driving, right?
You were
No, I was
meandering
driving.
around the back doing
I drove all yesterday.
oddball shit.
Yeah. Doing jack stuff.
I was all
Not
jack
stuff.
getting thrown to the front every time we hit the
Yeah.
brakes.
That was funny.
Okay, my bad.
That was
Dude, you're
very
like,
funny.
so we traded here in the latter part coming into Cherry Grove, and so I step up to the captain's seat and I give Jack a, "Hey, yo, you good?" Like, he was working with his cameras or whatever.
I said I'm good, too.
Yeah, I'm good. And I'm about to pull out, but then this truck comes out of nowhere, and so I had to slam on the brakes. Jack, like, comes from all the way to the back of the
I was,
RV.
like, right
like,
here.
He came up like 20 feet.
I was like right there. I was right there and came right, up to
Dude,
the front
I
seat.
thought you fucked your shit up. Like,
He
I
looked like he was
scrape my
like
shoulder,
some
that's it.
move a dude would do at a bar to like slide into a girl's DMs. He like
What's up,
slid up
God?
between us. He was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, what's up, Super Cash? I meant to do this."
Hey, you good? You good driving? Like,
Yeah. You guys good? You guys good up here? I'm good back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was funny.
I've
I was
also-
setting up the cameras.
I mean, it's the first of like many falls and head bumps. I need to wear a fucking helmet on this thing because
I need to give this guy some hard gloves.
hard hats.
Because yesterday you were like helping me out, put the bed down, and I just fucking like dropped the table.
Oh yeah.
I
Dude.
just like I don't know what happened. I just like wasn't holding it hard enough. Like
Yeah.
I cut your
My thumb got caught up, and
Yeah,
it's a
look,
little
you got a bruise.
And you know what? Actually,
you
that
want us
was
to
already
call
there.
the ambulance?
That was already
I
there.
don't think we're in a.
I think a
I don't
maxi
think the-
pad will do it. If you could just
Anyways.
grab me when I wrap it around my thumb.
Dude,
But
thanks
luckily
to
I
knowledge,
have
you're gonna get a lot
spares.
of bruises, a lot of finger cuts, a lot of toe cuts. I haven't hurt my toe. Well, I did before we left. Yeah, I did do that.
Yeah, I caught it on this thing up here.
Yeah.
This little latch.
I
That'll
fully
get
plan
ya.
on getting a concussion at some point in this trip. It's just gonna happen. With the things that I want to do, they all involve like jumping off of shit. Like it's just gonna happen. You know?
Well, when you do that, you got to wear the Buzzwater hat.
yeah.
Buzzwater, sponsor us. Kyle.
Cow.
So, what else do you get into on these podcasts?
Oh, it usually just flows, but sometimes we talk about like the current state of the world. Like before we got on this, we were talking about how Kansas City's getting,
Yeah.
considering shutting down again
Yeah.
because of COVID. It's so weird that we're all from Kansas City, and that's happening right now. In fact, in the rest of the world, COVID is just like
Yeah.
running rampant on society.
And I felt like Kansas City too. It was like not necessarily more laxed about everything, but I felt like it wasn't
Definitely was.
as rigid and like get some like I don't know.
I mean, they didn't implement the mask law until like a month ago, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
everywhere else had it. Like not everywhere, but like a bunch. I was in Denver. I was in Colorado, and they had it the entire time I was
Yeah.
there. And Chicago implemented it on April 1st.
Colorado is like really heavy on it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. When I went out there with my buddy Shaz, we did a trip to I got a ski share out there, and we went out there and we pull up to this like liquor store, gas station, and grocery store that I like to stop at in Denver, and we pull up and we're like, holy shit! This was like back in like right when like kind of everything was starting, like
Yeah.
back in like the
I mean,
May 1st or
May was,
something.
like, May
Or,
14th?
No. It was
Well,
probably,
when did the stock market crash? That's basically when I was
it
like,
started in March.
all right, that's
It was,
the
I think it was
serious-
late March, and we pull up, and there is a line outside of the grocery store, like all the way to the back, like the back dumpsters and where they drop off like new inventory.
They'd only let a certain amount of
And
people in.
it was like, okay, well, we're not stopping here. Let's move it along. Like it was the most worthless stop because we couldn't go to the bathroom at the gas station. All we could get was gas. Didn't get groceries. Didn't get the booze. So showed up empty-handed, and they were like, "Will, go home."
Dude, can I change it to what we were talking? Change the subject to what we're
Yeah,
the
do
podcast
whatever
we're
you
hearing
want,
today.
man.
It's with COVID, right? And you were back here saying that these kids are going to get held back and not get the education and
Yeah.
It's-
So Yeah, we were talking. Was that on the Tim Ferriss?
Yeah.
Who's
He had
who's the guest
Maurice
on that?
Ashley.
Yeah, Maurice Ashley. That was a really good podcast.
I think it's Ashley,
But they were talking about how these kids are doing schooling from home and don't have the same kind of access as far as like laptops or just the resources as some other kids do, and that's one of the unintended consequences when you shut down schools like that, is because those who are disadvantaged don't get that opportunity, and it almost further makes that bigger gap.
Makes the
for
gap
sure
much
it is.
bigger.
You know what I'm saying?
I keep
if that
thinking
makes
about
sense.
like COVID in that sense. Is like, look, people are gonna get sick. People have been getting sick for reasons throughout our entire life.
Yeah.
So now that we have this like shutdown, like, okay, now people are really not getting educated, and they're not going to school, and like their whole way of life is just so different. And man,
I think it can be good though, because with change and like uncertainty, like it creates new winners
urgency
and
to grow.
innovation.
Yeah,
It creates innovation, and now we're in such an information age too. Like people, you can find damn near anything on the internet. We learned how to empty the gray water tank.
Yeah.
We'll go over that here in a little bit.
We went full on. Cousin Eddie's shitter was full.
Yeah.
But it wasn't illegal. This
It
was
wasn't illegal.
Legal, yeah, completely legal dumping.
Yeah, man. I just keep thinking about like, okay, it makes sense to me to get out and about when we're on COVID, right?
Yeah.
To go out in the wilderness, be in isolation.
This is like the most social distancing thing you can do.
right. But then we have these
Except for
cameras.
us three stuck in here.
Yeah.
Different story.
We have these cameras here, and we have tech, we have internet, we have books. We've already been kind of primed to like, hey, keep educating yourself, keep innovating. But some of these kids have not grown up like we have, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you live and work remote.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're self-taught, but like these kids are going to have to like figure out how to have some sort of hero where they watch and they look up to, and that hero says, you need to do this. You need to go educate yourself. You need to like go to the library or go listen to this podcast or something, because they're sitting around doing nothing.
That's so hard to do. Like, I mean,
What about chess though?
when you're not used to that, and
Yeah.
you just get accustomed to a certain way of life, it's hard to go seek out those extra resources. I
know,
mean,
it's
unless
like we
you're an
gotta
extremely motivated individual, which like I would love if that was the case with everybody, but it's just not.
Not when you're young.
Especially not when you're young. Like,
Dude, I don't think I
you're
was
just worried
motivated.
about fun and girls.
Really, and we're still worried about those.
Yeah.
I don't think I
Well,
was
I'm not worried about them.
I wasn't motivated until I was like 21 or 22,
Yeah.
and I wanted to be a skipper.
Dude, so
And then it faded.
talking about, well, motivation is very fleeting, but when you capture it, it's one of the most powerful things there is. And when Nico first asked me about this and started talking about doing this podcast and this vision for Instagram, YouTube, all this, like, I just felt this sense like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and like just wanted to jump fucking head first, and like here we are.
Yeah.
And like, I have regretted absolutely nothing, and I will not regret absolutely nothing. And I think like embracing change has been one of the best things about this, and like just embracing fears and whatever. Like talking on a podcast might not like
You said it yourself.
that's
It's not
not
your
my
thing.
that's
Yeah.
not my thing.
Yeah.
But like overcoming that and just getting comfortable with that, like you feel like I feel exhilarating. It's exhilarating.
It is
Yeah.
absolutely exhilarating. I remember when I started this podcast, and it just felt so natural. And I was like, this is my favorite part of the week.
Yeah.
Is jumping on that. Why wasn't I doing this for the last 10 years? I was like, I wish I had started this with my high school buddies, like doing a podcast, even though we knew nothing about the world then, so probably had nothing to talk about.
Probably
Yeah.
would have got canceled real quick
real
in today's
quick, yeah.
culture.
I agree,
Yeah.
man. I agree with both of you. I love being on podcasts and talking about stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know that if there was one little clip in there that I say something that maybe I can give it to that kid
Yeah.
or somebody.
Just that one little bit.
Yeah, and it's like, You know what? We listened to this podcast today about a grandmaster in chess who was raised in Jamaica, went to Brooklyn, and he developed this like professional mastery in these different areas of his life, and he became successful.
Yeah.
But it started with chess. So you know what?
And just
in
his
COVID,
want to and
he was competitive, and he
Yeah.
was pushed, and he had accountability with a support system around him. But it's like,
those are some of the best qualities you can develop, honestly.
yeah, having people around you and the competition with
He was in
between
a
his brothers and
crazy
sisters.
environment of competition. His brother was a 3-time world champion boxer,
Yeah.
and his sister was a 6-time world champion boxer.
Yeah, but can you imagine him being in
Damn.
Jamaica, right? So we live in the United States. Whoever's watching this, we live in a very nice bubble in Kansas City. It's a wealthy place. There's anything we ever need. Jamaica probably doesn't have that, right? So these kids are growing up doing whatever they can. He said playing board games, cards, and then they start getting the like, oh, there's this thing called being physical, boxing, martial arts. I'm going to use that and start doing that too.
Yeah.
They basically skip the whole video games. And then we come up looking at our phone and video games, and we're not using like our sense of our physical awareness. And then like, you know, he talked about slowing down.
So you're
right?
telling me you learned nothing from Mario Party growing up?
So
You-
first we don't have Mario Party, dude. I wish we had
Shout
Mario
out
Party.
to Mary Crow for that N64 that isn't here.
Took the rug out from under us, Mary.
So what do we have to do?
We
have
love
to
ya.
go in long walks in the woods at night,
Oh God.
drunk.
With these two. You know what? Back to your point. We did grow up wasting a lot of time, and people say a lot, and I've said this, that when you just to make like a separate point, when you smoke weed as a kid, it makes you fine with being bored. But I think the same can be said about having everything you need growing up.
This is me.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
you
getting at.
Complacency.
yeah.
Complacency kills the most people in this world.
Yeah, you
honestly.
think when you have everything you need at such a young age, it's provided to you where you haven't like worked for it yourself. It makes you relax, take your foot off the pedal. You're like, I don't need to press on this. I don't
Yeah.
need to do this to survive. And so it makes you fine with being bored, just like smoking pot does for some people. And the problem with that is that when you're bored and you're a kid, that's the time when you should be learning something new, a new skill.
The
So
thing
yeah.
that makes you be like, whoa, I could
Yeah.
do this for hours.
Develop
Yeah.
a hobby that sticks with you, because every successful person
We got
in the
that
world,
bottle opener. I think he's sitting on it, but
Oh.
I'm gonna drink to this. Go ahead.
every
Go ahead, Nico.
successful person in the world made most of them, the lucky ones, became a success off of something that they loved to do that they probably developed as a child. You know what I mean? It was probably a hobby,
Yeah.
singing or something like that, or playing. Playing with computers and stuff. And what did Elon Musk do as a kid? You know what I mean?
He
You
built.
read his,
He built.
biography.
Yeah, it's great. I did the audiobook.
Absolutely.
It was
do that.
incredibly good.
Yeah.
But his dad took him around the world flying planes, and then he was building computers and
read
games
books
and read books.
daily.
I mean, I think if you can find something where you're spending hours doing it and no one's kind of telling you to do it, that's what a lot of people need today.
Well,
Not even kids, but even adults.
I think that's one of the scary things too, is people are afraid to pursue their true passions because they're afraid of failure or whatever it may be, but they want to do something that's safe and they can get that paycheck and whatever but is that truly happiness?
It's a herd mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're a kid in grade school, the things that make you unique are what define you. You're out doing this by yourself. You go home after school. It's not like you're constantly going to your friend's house to hang out. You are, doing something at home. You're reading a book. You're building a puzzle. You're effing with a computer
Yeah.
or something like that. And then as you get older, there's this like inherent desire to belong. Do everything that your friends do, and you slowly lose what made you a unique individual.
And
I know I
try.
lost any I used to play piano when I lived in Illinois. I played it all the time.
Well, I brought my keyboard. Let's see it.
Yeah. I
What
can't
did
even.
you not bring?
Here's the thing. I can't even read.
I
music.
think
chess
I think I
tomorrow.
might have brought the most stuff
You
here.
definitely
but-
brought the most stuff.
You found,
There's
you
not
found
a
the
I
most
brought the good
unique-
stuff.
Yeah, the fun stuff.
Yeah.
I brought
Yeah.
3 bags
I
of
bring the
clothes.
fun.
Yeah.
I brought an RV.
You
There you go.
yeah. So that was my
pretty
contribution.
much trumps everybody.
yeah,
here.
yep. But Jack brought the camera equipment, and that we need that as well.
That was pretty helpful.
Dude,
Yeah.
but speaking on that, I have been kind of afraid to say I'm not a videographer. Like I want to be something else besides someone who has a bunch of cameras. Isn't that weird? Does that shock you guys?
No.
Okay.
I don't, because I don't
Because it
see
does
you
to
as
me.
that.
Because it's like, oh, I
It
am
doesn't
only a
def-
videographer.
It doesn't define you.
It doesn't
but
shock me.
I thought I am a little bit taken aback because I feel like that's like your passion. Like that's what you like to do, and you have a knack for it and a talent
Yeah.
for it.
I'll tell you why I'm not shocked by that at all, because I never saw you as a guy with a bunch of camera equipment.
Well, yeah,
I say-
never.
It
saw
takes
that,
it takes
I guess
2
we knew
minutes.
each other in high school, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it takes 2 minutes of talking to you now to know that you've got vision. And then watching you work on there, you don't just think of some guy with camera equipment. You think of some guy who knows what he's looking for before he ever pulls the camera out. You know what I mean? So, like, there's... I that doesn't shock me at all. I don't see you as a videographer. I see you as a... I don't know, more of
As a
cinema-
human
a
being.
cinematographer, man, a director or something. Like, you've got vision. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, that doesn't shock me one bit.
I think I'm just playing or reiterating what you're saying is like we are afraid, and sometimes we have a hard time getting out of that fear
Yeah.
because we feel like we're dependent on it.
Doesn't I might be completely making this up, but doesn't Will Smith have something like where he has like a speech about fear where he overcomes it or whatever, and it's I'm probably making this up. Somebody can you Google this?
Jamie?
Jamie. Where is he in the back?
I'll look it up. I
but
got
yeah,
some stuff on fear though. that
I feel
heard
like
this
he
last
has this very powerful, moving speech about fear, and really like the gist of it is just like, do not let it rule your life. Like, fear is meant to be overcome and used, and when you can conquer it, it's one of the most
week.
awesome
The title
feelings in the
says
world.
"Bliss is on the other side of fear."
yeah. See, yeah,
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't making shit up.
I mean, he does a lot of stuff he's afraid
98%
of.
of the stuff that comes out of my mouth is bullshit.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
I just want to make that clear right here, right now.
Yeah.
I think the mistake that most people make about fear is thinking that successful people don't have fear. When
Ooh,
it's
yeah.
quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Everyone has fear. It's knowing how to face that fear
Yeah.
and
Embrace
use embrace it and use it. So like no one is born without fear.
How do you face fear if you don't know like the definition? Like we're looking up this stuff right now.
Yeah.
If you don't know, my answer is to look it up and like read a book. So if you don't know how to face it because you don't know what it is, like what do you guys do?
I think that's part of the fear, not knowing how to face it. I
Not
think that's
knowing is a big fear.
Yeah, I think
In
that's
general.
that's a massive part, but what do? I think when you don't know anything about it, you either look to someone who's faced the same fear, a mentor or something like that. Something I was listening to today, they were talking about ask a successful person that's in your industry what they did. Just ask them what they did
Do what they did.
and listen, like don't reinvent the wheel. Just,
it's there. It's there for the taking.
take from them. They've already faced this same challenge.
Yeah.
And then another part is taking what you can learn from other people. So you could look it up or you could call them or whatever, but taking what you learn and then that's not going to be 100% of the way. It could be 80% of what you need to know. That other 20% is going to make you grow beyond any amount that anyone could tell you. If someone gave you the full answer and was like, well, here's take a left, turn right. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to learn anything. But that last 20% not knowing, that's still going to be fear. And you go in there and you are like, okay, so I did it wrong, but that's how to do it.
Yeah.
Now I see it and I discovered that because I did it wrong.
Yeah.
So I think the best way to combat fear is failure.
Oh,
Yeah, it's more
absolutely.
important to move than to sit still. Like
Fail
even if you
forward.
go in the wrong direction,
Like,
to go somewhere and see, oh man, I am off track. I guess I got to go back.
Fail forward.
well, and that's That's one of the things I forget where I picked this up too, but it was just like talking about how like children learn or whatever. It's because they're not afraid to fear. They don't know. They don't know.
No.
You know, and they just embrace everything, and then eventually they start to master. They start to learn.
Yeah.
You know, they start to expand their vocabulary, words, talk, like all that. You know.
Yeah. There's a wheel that says perception leads to behaviors, which leads to action, which leads to perception. So those three things in a cycle: perception, behaviors, action. Perception, behaviors,
that book you're reading?
action. I saw it recently in some coaching books.
Okay.
Whatever. I hired a coach.
Can we jump back to where we were talking about like, oh, I just look it up, like, what?
Look up.
How
what?
weird is that now? To where like, or I just want to talk about like back in when you couldn't look shit up.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I would have thrived
If you don't have the
in a
internet.
bar argument when somebody couldn't be
Prove
like
me
pull
wrong.
up their
Yeah.
Google on their phone and be like, hey,
Yeah.
like no, I'm taking that motherfucker down.
Dude, I think that was when was the smartphone invented? When we were in like high school?
High school, dude. iPhone came out.
Yeah.
My friend Ted had the
Junior
first one.
high, grade
You
school,
gotta be
beginning
smart
of
to
high
use
school.
the smartphone,
Those
so.
were good to me. All right, I won a lot of arguments back then.
Yeah.
Off the shit I
What
could
was-
pull out of my head that sounded right.
What was your guys' first phone?
Razor.
Oh, you're fancy.
I had the
That's the first one I can remember.
the LG Rumor, and that baby was a tank. It literally went through the wash
Yeah.
and came back out the other side unscathed. Unscathed.
I had some.
It was
slide
butt
phone.
dialing someone already.
Yeah.
You check it out of the wash.
Yeah, I had some shitty slide phone, and then I got it for my 16th birthday, and then I got my first smartphone for my 18th birthday, the iPhone 3, and I
Look
have
at
just
you.
never looked
Never
back.
looked back.
No.
Yeah, I thought it was the shit, and now I look at an iPhone like 6, and I'm like, you bitch.
Dude, there are people today, or I don't know what they did back then. I don't remember who I was or what I was doing back then where I couldn't look it up. But I look at people today who are not looking up fear or whatever it is. Like, I want to study, let's say, personality traits. And so I figured out what the Enneagram was, all these other tests that you could take. And I researched them. I had books on them. And I studied them. I get that information from a podcast of somebody sharing their story, saying, this is what I did. And like today, Maurice Ashley is sharing his story, and he's like, oh, what am I going to do when I go back into the chess world and I'm trying to be the grandmaster? I go get all the books in the world.
Yeah.
I go get every move that everybody's ever made, and I go look at the tapes, and he looks at historical records of how people played. And I don't know what people did back then, but I am shocked people are not doing more of that today.
Constantly.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's tough for me to like. I feel like sometimes I hold back in conversations, even with people I'm closest with, because I'm like, well, I know they didn't read this, and I don't know if they care, and then I don't fully know the book, so should I bring it up at all? And then I try to, and they're like, look, we don't want you to just tell us, like, go read this book.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but if you're not
People
reading
are
the
all-
book, how are
people-
you learning? Like,
People are always gonna do what they want to do, regardless of if you
yeah.
try and point them in the right direction or.
Here's gonna be an original quote. This just popped in my head. I want you to remember that I said this.
Already forgot.
Jack, remember.
Kill the camera.
Kill the camera. Yeah, just ends podcast right there. School stops. Education never stops.
Is that original?
That is original. You know what? I'm actually I take that very well, because you're like, I can see on your face, you're like, that sounds like Abraham Lincoln might have said that. He's some historical figure.
Comes from the land of Lincoln.
It
I'm pretty
did,
sure
yeah.
you stole that from Lincoln.
I
No,
was
no,
gonna say
no.
Denise, who runs this place.
Den-
Yeah,
Denise.
Denise. Oh, an
Denise.
absolute sweetheart.
All right,
Let me
so-
tell you.
So can we now revert to
Let's
a
go back
lighter
to the
topic?
beginning.
Back to today.
Lighter topic.
Skirt.
Let's get to what we did today. we're in Morgantown last night. We didn't get in till late, so we didn't really get to experience it, but it looked pretty dead anyway.
Yeah.
We parked the RV down by the river.
We were in a
like-
van down by the river.
Have the
eating a
bottle opener?
steady diet and government cheese.
Oh man, that's hey,
That's
it's
how
good
you
shit.
Put cheese on your stuff tonight.
Yeah.
It's more like government mackerel, chub
Yeah,
mackerel.
Chub mackerel.
Dude,
But
Chris probably would have been proud.
Oh,
yeah, he
God.
would have been proud. But
All right, to Chris.
yeah, here's to Chris Farley.
Dude,
Fat
my
guy in a
dad-
little coat.
How many parents did your parents just say, like, they joke around like, you're gonna be living down in a van, but
Oh yeah.
in a van down by the
like
river.
there is absolutely judgment when you sign
all
up for
parents
something
said
like
that.
this.
Uh,
And especially in a 1992 Fleetwood Flair. Absolute.
Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Yes,
SS
Ric
Flair.
Ric Flair, baby.
Sorry to cut you off.
No. It's all good. So the RV was surrounded by what kind of
Bears.
company would we call it? Yeah, bears.
Bears.
It was bears. They could smell the menstruation. But Jack, who was just chilling outside the RV?
I would say they're homeless people, and I would say that because 2 or 3 cars pulled up this morning, and they had trunks full of food, and they were handing them out to the people.
Yes, which was awesome. Also, we couldn't decide on this last night. We could have just looked it up. West Virginia has a bad fill-in-the-blank problem, and we couldn't. I couldn't remember.
We
His
were there for
opioids.
24 hours. I have no idea.
Yeah,
It's-
and that's probably just hearsay, but
No. West Virginia has the worst opioid crisis in the country.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
So
real thing.
opioids are like, what's the method they're
Like,
using?
Can we fact check it?
is oxycodone and is that stuff that's
That's an
considered
opioid,
opioids?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was some interesting conversation to say the least.
Yes. At one point, someone who was clearly on drugs came up right when we had gotten there and asked for whiskey. Like
Yeah.
The guy you were talking to, Will?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was in space. The
Yeah.
guy I was talking to, he was not bad. He was just chill.
Yeah, he seemed like a good dude.
Yeah.
But it was also
falling on
9
hard times,
o'clock in
and
the
that's-
morning.
yeah.
So, but I don't know their schedule when that happens.
Yeah, but we took off from there today. We got some Smoothie
Smoothies.
King. I think we got 3 free
Yeah,
smoothies
no, I'm
off
pretty
of some
sure,
glitch in the system.
Boom.
Which we're gonna
There's
do for
our
the
other
rest of the
sponsor.
trip.
Yeah, and they
Smoothie
let
King.
us keep the coupon.
Yeah, we
which,
still got the coupon.
Let me read the back of this to you. It came from Ann Arbor, Michigan. It says it's a free smoothie, 20 ounce, expired on January 31st, 2020, which was this year. And
it worked today.
it worked today, and they let us keep it. She even scanned it, so like
Hey,
it must still be
We
valid.
should probably be a little hush hush. We don't want to get her fired.
Yeah, well,
For all our listeners are
all
gonna.
our listeners, yeah, in West Virginia. But and then we took off to go deep into the mountains to near Spruce Knob. That was like our goal,
Yeah.
and it was probably like 3-hour drive or something like that.
It took a little bit with all that fog and.
Treacherous, a bit treacherous, but a problem that we had before this is that we had filled up the gray water tank. Now, if you don't know anything about RVs have 3 tanks usually.
This applies to big.
I recommend
big
that video
things.
we watched
Yeah.
on YouTube because
Yeah,
This applies to boats as
Put it in the
well.
show notes. But yeah, so it has a freshwater tank, which is the only place that water goes in, and you can get that at campsite hookups, or we did it on the side of a house. You know what I mean? And so that's where you store water, and then depending on what you use it for, so the shower and sink. All sinks all go to the gray water tank. Now that just has soap and bodily, shit you wash off you.
of your hands.
Yeah. So that fills up, and then you have
Who's
the
the sponsor?
black water tank. Wait, the
'Cause
sponsor?
The sponsor goes into that tank, right?
Oh yeah,
You
the
wash
sponsor.
yourself off.
Yes, Counterman from Beauty Counter goes right in
Counterman.
there.
It
Yeah.
goes into the.
Goes right in there. We never have to look at it again. And then the black
Pretty
water
sure it
tank.
cleans the whole system.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, and then it washes the RV on the inside. But the Blackwater tank is what the toilet goes to. And we thought we knew how to empty the gray water tank. And it got full. We were in Morgantown, and we opened it up and realized that
We have no idea
Yeah.
what we're doing.
all we did was empty out all of our fresh water onto the ground. And I was like, oh, all 3 of these go to the fresh water. And so we get to this campsite, and we realize that we have the ability to empty it and we had to watch this video of this dude. He's like, well, if you go to Costco, you can get a bag of 200 gloves for $7. $7. And
We
he,
need 200 of them.
yeah. And he walked, you know how many I
made
used?
Nico wash his hands about 10 times.
Yeah. Yeah. After he licked the
Doused
filth off
him
of
in
him.
Purell like that episode of Always Sunny.
You were watching Sunny last night. I was like, I can't not watch this. It's so funny.
Anyway, we learned a very valuable lesson. We learned how to empty the gray and black water tanks. We had everything we needed, and that's something that that's a lesson that we definitely needed.
Life lesson.
Dude, this is all brand new to you, right? You didn't know anything about gray water tanks, holding tanks, all that stuff?
Until I got the RV.
You didn't
I'm
really
starting
know
to
about
feel
it.
like
No.
a damn mechanic.
Yeah.
You should.
Like
That's how I felt on boats.
It's awesome too. I love like learning all this stuff because like growing up, I feel like I never was exposed to anything with motors,
Oil
or
change, any of that.
Yeah, just none of that. And I feel like that's a great way to
Spend
like
your time.
introduce, especially like young people, to get them into like engineering and some cool stuff like that, is to expose them to stuff like that, because it really is interesting and you learn a lot how things work, and just great life skills to have in general.
I love that
you
you say
know?
engineering. I always think engineers are like systematic thinkers.
No.
One comes before the other, right?
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, well, I have to do this step, this step, this step. And you guys saw water coming out of the sink, right? And you're like,
We worked opposite direction as engineers. You're like, huh.
It's gone wrong. How do we fix it?
Yeah.
We let it go wrong.
but engineers would probably do the same, you know? They know how to fix it.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. Like, that's what people need. And they need to be in a situation where it's like, oh, the water's full. How do I empty that?
So what we're saying is everybody at home should get an RV, take their entire families and some neighbors, cram as many as you can in there, and just figure it out.
Poop as much as possible in the RV.
God.
But you know what's cool is when we get back from this trip, like we're only really into this trip. We're only on our second day.
This is day. Yeah.
Day
It's August
two.
15th
This is-
when we're recording this.
This is
Yeah.
the first real week.
Yeah, so it's August 15th.
We're not
but
coming
like,
back till October.
yeah, when we come back and we
Even if that, I don't even know,
eventually
right?
go, yeah, somewhere in that
Music
range.
festival got canceled for me. So
My wedding got canceled.
Oh, really?
Not
I'm
my
sorry
wedding,
to hear
I'm
that, but
sorry.
like, yeah, wait, what?
my brother
Remember I was
is
gonna
having
fly
his
out?
wedding. I have to be there, but
Okay. Maybe
we
his
can
will get
still
canceled.
we can still extend it. I hope not.
My
It's already
point-
happened.
My point being,
Love you, Taylor and Ellie.
we've already learned a bunch on this trip. Will and I have, and then Jack, even in the day that we've been here,
About
now he
myself,
knows how
about
to
each
empty
other,
that.
about RVs.
Well, about RVs and how to camp and stuff like that. By the end of this trip, we will have learned so much that when we eventually take this baby back out, whether it's just me and other people, or all three of us, or two of us and other people, whatever, they're gonna see us operating with such casual certainty that they're gonna be like, man,
They're gonna be concerned
I
because
could-
it's such certainty.
well, they're gonna be like, man,
Dude,
you know a
girls
lot
find
about
that
this
fucking
shit.
attractive, I
Yeah,
promise
that's
you.
confidence. And
Certainty
confidence
is-
is key.
confidence is key, and like people are gonna see us and be like, they know a lot about having a little.
Yeah. I heard recently, I love this.
So it's gonna be nice when we have a lot.
Well, we still have a
I'm
little.
still like kind of a minimalist.
But you say confidence is key, but then there's authority. And so now you're saying, no. I'm not just confident that's how you take out the gray water. I'm authoritative. I know.
Yeah.
That's it. I've done it. I've experienced it. And a lot of times I know I speak out of this. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, and that's not a very confident way to say it,
Yeah.
but it's on the scale.
Yeah.
And then authority is just like not even there. It's like on
Yeah,
a different
you
scale.
just
It's
be
like,
give me that. Let me do it.
Because
Yeah.
this will be our domain. One of our, you have
It's our
domains. You have domains in life where you know that's how you do that. That's how you do that. This is how you survive, and I know everything how to do it in here. And it, it could be physical. It could be, at some point your expert domain will be creating like insane documentaries and movies and shit, and people are gonna come to you and be like, wow, he knows everything that he says. I'm gonna take, like, I'm gonna write it down and shit like that, and trading and stuff like that. Everything that you
Right,
say,
today
that's
we were
your
all
domain.
listening.
Yeah, everything that you say, I'm taking all of that in, and I'm like, okay, I need to do that. Well, I need money first to do that, and stuff like that. But everyone
You should be
has
filing
their
for unemployment, man.
right. I didn't file my tax. What?
Ah.
Um,
Don't
Is that,
fraud for
is that
2
you,
years,
the
yeah.
IRS?
Yeah,
I'll
is
throw
that
in
you,
some
is that
music
you
on that
listening?
one.
I hope my FBI agent isn't listening through my phone.
God.
But everyone has their domains in life where you just know that, where you look at a person and you're like, that everything that they say, I'm gonna take. I'm
Once
gonna write
again,
it down.
back to the podcast from earlier. It's just a sense. He was a grandmaster in chess.
Exactly.
If you have something that you're passionate about and strive for, and you want to master, like that is, do it.
Yeah, if you master,
Just do it.
yeah, if
Don't
you-
even think twice, or don't look back.
Yeah, if you figure out the not the fastest, but like the most effective and efficient way to become great at something, those skills are absolutely going to transfer over.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if you guys noticed, but like I'm not really walking around like looking at like how to fix this RV.
Dude, we weren't
It's not
expecting
my-
that.
It's
I
it's
feel
not
like
what I'm trying to learn.
I feel like all three of us have kind of all fallen into like
I
already
said
in our
roles.
short time are roles that need to be done, because like constantly there is work and shit that needs to be done. I mean, he's a homeowner and we're tenants and we're trying to do our part.
You out of everyone is like, okay, I gotta make sure this thing is running, right? I
Yeah.
gotta make sure it works.
Limiting time on
I
the
knew
generator
what gray
and
water
all that
tanks
stuff.
are. Like I knew what holding tanks
Uh-huh.
are.
Why didn't you say so?
I knew
Well,
what they
because
were.
they're different on every
Yeah.
single.
Yeah. I
knew what they
everything,
were.
Every single, I say boat, but RV, and so it's like, all right, it's your domain to go figure out where those things are. I know they're there. Remember when we were doing the holding tank, and originally I was like, guys, there's a valve somewhere,
Yeah.
and then we found it,
Yeah.
and so it's like, I don't need to go spend all my time, but I did need to spend time installing all this stuff for the cameras.
Making
Yeah.
us look pretty.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
Yeah, we're gonna put some serious effects on these
Yeah.
videos. Dude, you know what's funny? This thought I had when I was emptying out the gray and black tanks is Will was right there and I said it out loud and I looked up at him. But it was like I was like holding the tube down there into the drain and it was pumping out and I was like, I feel like I'm holding one of my friends' hairs as they're just like violently drunk and puking. Yeah. I was like petting the RV and I was like, it's gonna be all right, buddy. That's
Dude.
exactly how I felt.
Stacy's first night at college.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
That was also like
Exactly.
the hose this morning when you were filling up the RV with water. It
Oh,
just, like,
dude.
flew out.
That thing was the most
a rocket.
pressurized hose I have ever like attached to it. Like I thought for sure like I wanted you guys to come grab my phone and all the electronics on me. I was like, I am about to get
It's gonna
cut.
explode. Yeah.
See it on the YouTube, maybe. I don't know.
Dude, all right. So because you brought up the idea of show notes, I want to just say something right now, and that is that last week I heard Neil Strauss, who is a author, he talked about a few books that he recommends, and
I'm all for some books.
I have not read these yet, but they are absolutely on my next list. And for a little context, what I said earlier is very true. Is like I've been working and trying to study and learn about fear and codependency. Codependency before fear. I have noticed some things, and I read this book called The Wizard of Oz and Other Narcissists, and it's pretty interesting. But
I thought that was gonna end at the Wizard of Oz, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Where? How?"
We're
Okay,
not
I'll
in
let you
Kansas anymore.
continue.
Oh,
Have you seen Wicked though? Great,
I love it.
it's so good. Go ahead.
That book's about codependency, really. But I was looking up, show notes, right? And
Yeah.
honestly, all the information I get comes from Tim Ferriss's podcast. And one of the books that they were talking about is called The Fear Book, Facing Fear Once and For All by Sherry Huber. And so this is for anybody who's interested in like going back and like finding resources on fear. The second book is Be the Person You Want to Find, Relationships and Self-Discovery by Sherry Huber. And then the next one is about codependency. It's called Facing Codependence, what it is, where it comes from, how it sabotages our lives. And basically, I guess I wanted to bring that up because, like, I don't feel like I'm dependent on you guys to do whatever, something that I have the authority on.
Yeah.
But if I have lack of confidence, maybe that's where I need that codependency, right? And so,
But you don't. It's just
but
that's
it's in your head, it's in the
That's
fear.
inherent and like that's in yourself. Like
Yeah.
that's just
It's,
you. That's you need to conquer it. You don't need
Mhm.
affirmation from anybody else. Nobody needs affirmation from anybody else. We just, as humans,
I think it's part
apparently
of being human,
crave
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
We just crave it.
Yeah. And I'm excited to, and I will do it on this trip because I can get the audiobooks or whatever, but look at fear
Yeah.
and look at like,
What fears do you guys want to conquer on this trip? Well, we already talked about it the other day. Nico needs to work out in a Walmart parking lot while people stare at him
I love the
like
micro
I did.
honesty though, right? Like the micro
Like,
honesty.
he literally was like, because I could see it in his face too. It was like, because I was apprehensive too when I was about to like go get the workout equipment and go in the fucking parking lot while we were waiting to pick up Jack, and I was like, I want to get a workout in. We got like 50 minutes to kill. It's like, we
Did
don't
you
got no
check?
gym here, so we make our own gym. And so I just put out the equipment out in the lot and was like, all right, screw it, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But I could see it on Nico's face. He's like, I ain't doing that.
But maybe he was more afraid that the RV wasn't working. So like, what is the fear that really calls our attention?
What fears do you guys want to conquer?
I like the question. I want to fucking make money, man. I need to make money and get out of the dependency that I've been living at my mom's house. And everything is provided for me. The comfort is all there. And that's just what I want to do. Like, I kind of made a promise to myself when I go home, like, I'm not going back home.
Yeah.
So, like, if this trip goes till December, I'm fine with it.
Let's ride, baby.
Yeah.
Nico.
I have a fear of going back home.
I do too, man.
It's like very, very deep.
All the time.
I've spent like most.
What do you guys have against home? Is that? I mean, I know.
Going
okay,
home
is it-
to
is
my
it-
parents' house.
Yes, but also I feel like there's
Like,
something. I feel like there's something deeper there.
I wish my parents were here.
Yeah, it's not them.
It's not the house. I wish.
Do you guys feel like
I think it's the
stuck?
dependency.
It is. Yeah, I do.
like
Yeah.
Same. When I'm sitting in my parents' house as a 26-year-old man, and I see my 25 and 26 and 27-year-old friends.
everybody has a
First of all,
different path?
that's horrible though. Like, comparing is like.
It is.
Yeah.
It
That
is. It is.
sucks.
It
That's
is.
bad.
It is bad. No. I'm aware of this. It's just when you're there long enough, it just makes you think like.
You were living
I don't
in
know-
Southeast Asia and bouncing around in Costa Rica.
This is what I'm saying.
and
This is what makes it worse. Is I had so much. I had no I didn't take anything from anyone when I was out there. Not that I didn't work for, and I had no dependency on anyone. And so to go that long without being dependent, and then being ripped out
And
of
then
that environment, and
coming back
and
because of
immediately
COVID,
being
like,
dependent,
yeah.
and then I was no longer Well, I was teaching online for a little bit, which I hated. And I got the podcasting gig, but like to go back to being dependent on no one to being so dependent on the people that you were dependent on your entire life, it's hard. Like it's a hard transition, and so yeah, I have a fear of going home, but it's not because of the people, and it's not because of the it's just like being dependent on someone else for a place to live, for shelter. You know what I mean? Like that's a big thing to be dependent on.
Yeah. I
Thank
almost
you
feel like
for
it's-
our shelter tonight, Nico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm dependent on
Thank
you
you
right
for
now.
sharing.
Yeah. Thank
Dude,
you.
I almost feel like it's a fear of being there in 10 years. It's like not fear of like actually going home. It's like, I'm afraid I'm actually not going to have
That
anything
fear
change.
will push you though to the next level. I feel like.
It could, or it could cripple you depending
Yes.
on the person you are.
when I was graduating college,
Embrace it. That's what we're doing
Embrace
this
it.
trip.
You
We're
absolutely
embracing
have to
fear.
embrace it.
That is like, I think that's should be one of the fucking credos of this trip. Is just
Embrace
to
fear.
embrace fear and conquer that.
Do you guys know yes theory?
Climb some mountains, move some mountains, and do it.
Yeah.
Yes
Just
theory.
constantly do it every day. Go
No,
ahead.
What's
Sorry.
that?
I'm sorry. This is actually what you're saying is better because we're creating our own versus me
Yes.
trying to share someone else's. But they talk about seek discomfort. And
Dude,
so
That's
ours is
literally
embrace
like
fear.
kind of what
Embrace
this is.
fear.
I am no Boy Scout by any means on this earth. Like, this is the most outdoorsy thing I have done in my entire life.
Yeah, it's been a
Except
real
grow
pleasure
dreads.
listening to you bitch and moan.
I fucking love it here.
Yeah. I think, you know what, even diving deeper now that you said that about 10 years down the road, this is almost like a therapy session
Or 10
because
weeks.
Yeah,
man.
I feel like I'm
alright,
getting-
this is morphed into therapy.
well, no. I feel
I'm
like
cool
I
with it,
just
though.
dug into
lay down on
something.
the couch and
Yeah, it
get
all
my notepad
started
out.
at this time. No, but that just made me realize you saying that. My fear, I guess the greatest fear, is that. So you said being there in 10 years. My fear is that the fear of being there in 10 years will drive me to do something that I hate, like a job that I hate, or something like that. Take a 9-to-5 bullshit marketing job or something just to get out of there. That's my biggest fear, is that fear of being there in 10 years will drive me to go down a path that I cannot stand.
I
That it
think
makes
Dude,
me
you and
sick.
I are in such a similar place.
I
It's-
think
yeah.
that same fear is literally what will make you guys successful.
It's
What? To not go
No,
towards what-
because you know that is absolutely what you do not want, and so you are gonna
9 to
eventually,
5?
when push comes to shove,
It's not even the hours.
when push comes to shove, when people have their back against the wall, adrenaline kicks in, and they do whatever it fucking takes
Yeah.
to make it happen, of what their vision is for their life or for what they want to do in that moment.
Who says
My
you're
2
not
cents.
good at podcasts?
I fucking hate podcasts.
That was great.
yeah.
Get this guy more Bush Lights.
Yeah.
Hey.
Feed him.
Brought to you by Bush Light.
Feed him.
Bush Latte.
BL
The
smoothies.
smoothest in
So-
the West Virginia Appalachians.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. I mean, like, Nico, I think you and I are literally thinking the same things.
It's down there for
And
sure.
and like our fear of not getting a job, our fear of getting a job with someone that we don't actually like. Is it about owning it? Like, because sometimes I'm like, oh well, I'm just gonna go work for someone. That sucks. And then what am I gonna be and tied down to? Okay, I'm gonna go work for someone. If I want to move out of Kansas City, like I love Austin, Texas. I gotta go move to Austin, Texas. Then I gotta pay rent. And I think I know this deep down that I'm playing out these scenarios, but like just the going and doing it would make me grow and like eliminate the fear.
Absolutely.
Like living there is not going to be a hard thing. Once you get there, you're going to be like, well, now what am I afraid of? Like
Dude,
talking to the big CEOs that are down there. Okay, now we have new fears. Okay, let's figure this out.
life is full of fears.
Yeah.
And so when you learn how to challenge it and embrace it and go for it and accept the fact that fear is an inevitability.
Yeah.
God, that word was hard right now.
It sounded great.
I think fear disguises itself as discomfort in so many people. Like I'm uncomfortable with going to talk to that CEO. I'm uncomfortable with putting it out there on the line. I think it just disguises itself where people say, I'm not comfortable with that. And you're like, well, you're scared of it.
Yeah.
You know, that you're I've heard this a million times and I'm not there. I haven't like achieved my hopes and dreams.
I think this comes back to more of that complacency thing too. People love comfort.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
comfort, complacency, it's the same thing as people avoiding discomfort.
Yeah. I've heard this a million times with the podcast that I do the show notes for, but they say your hopes and dreams are just outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree with that more. Dude, landing in Costa Rica, the night before I said goodbye to my girlfriend at the time. My brother came over at like 9 o'clock. And we,
What's up, Jer Bear?
yeah, what's up, Jerber? We ripped a G-pen, and I proceeded to sit there all night without sleeping in my bed. I didn't sleep 1 second and think, oh, fuck, dude, I'm leaving the country tomorrow. I'm leaving the country tomorrow. Oh, my God. And then I was so terrified when I got to Costa Rica. But, like, now, I would never, ever give a second thought to going and traveling anywhere. Like, but that's a massive, like, I feel like my comfort zone was here. And then there, I like broke through the wall, and so now I'm here, and it's I can go travel anywhere, and I would never ever think about it twice.
I had this same kind of feeling when I moved out to Keystone, Colorado, and it was just like I literally had no idea who my roommates were gonna be. It was just like I kind of want to go do this, and I want to ski a bunch and whatever.
But you found a place
and
before you went there?
Yeah, so I found a place and went out there and showed up like.
Hey, I'm Will.
Come in and be like, sup? Joey, he's a fucking dude. Joey's.
And he ended up being a cool dude, huh?
Yeah. Oh, and another one, Jack Friday. They're the homies.
Joey, Seaford, and Jack Friday.
Yeah.
Those are some
the
baller
the
names.
I know, Jesus.
I was like, shit, Will Markway comes in there and ruins the
Last,
fucking squad.
dead
What
last.
a nerd.
Cool, dude.
What
When
a
you put all three
nerd.
of you together.
Yeah.
No, we were a crew, though. But, yeah, moving out there, I was just like the last night, kind of was just like, shit, like, oh, this is actually happening. Like, when I was, like, first thinking about it, I was just like, okay, just fuck it, do it, you know? And, like, it's, a lot of times, I end up overthinking stuff.
Right.
And I feel like when I'm my best self and when I am, like, most happy is when I just go with that initial instinct and don't put in too much, you know, okay, what if this no, just hear it,
I think
do
we're all
it.
get up and
That's,
goers.
and that's not to say that I don't put thought into my decisions, but that's to say that, like, I think your initial instinct is, like, it's gonna steer you right more often than not.
You said you overthink. I love the idea that it's okay to overthink, but it's not okay to overthink negatively.
Yeah.
So you could think about what could go wrong, and that is a stoic practice, like preparing yourself for the worst, hoping for the best.
Yeah.
But if you sit there and you just think about what's the worst,
let it consume you.
Right.
Yeah, that's
and
a
I
problem.
think that might be what we're doing with getting a job, working for someone else, or whatever. But yeah, no, I'm a fan of it.
Yeah. Boys, let's wrap this up.
This
is a good pod. This is a good pod length. You know,
good pod length.
We can keep
we
talking.
We don't want to keep
but
rambling for you guys, but we do.
We can keep talking.
We're gonna keep rambling
2-hour podcast.
well on after this.
Tim does 3. Joe does 3.
We'll stick here. We'll continue rambling off.
Because don't
off,
you
off
feel
the books.
fulfilled doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. This
So
is my
why
favorite
stop
thing
it?
to do.
Why do we stop it?
We don't have to stop the conversation.
Okay.
Just the podcast.
We're stopping this,
But
Jack.
our conversation is the thing that's fulfilling, correct? Like,
Yeah.
I love what you're telling me here.
Yeah.
And I love that we can share notes of books that I've read.
I just think we've talked about our fears. We've talked about funny shit that we had to do in this process. We talked about our goals and dreams.
Quite literally funny shit.
Poop stuff that we
Poop
had
stuff.
to do.
Poop jokes. This is the quality content you asked for and you are getting.
All right.
Yeah.
You're the captain.
I am. Yeah.
I am
typical.
first mate Will Markway.
I get 2 first mates here. Yeah.
I'm a stowaway.
Stowaway. Hey, dude, that's
Actually,
Put him
I
in the
figured
lock
out
him
last
up
night,
in the hey.
We
lock him
figured
up
out
in
last
the
night I had a
brig.
bed. I didn't even know
Lock
I
him
would.
up.
Dude,
in
I
the
didn't know.
brig.
I didn't know you had a bed either.
I legit came onto this trip seriously assuming this was the only bed. There were only 2 beds. And I was like, I'm ready to sleep on the floor.
That's when we crushed my thumb last night.
I was
trying to figure
I was
that
super
out.
pumped that bed was actually legit.
It's bigger because you had to take the back cushions off.
Yeah.
It's bigger than I thought it was. Like a
Boys, I can't. Oh my God, what's up, Luigi?
We should do a whole podcast with one of these kind of things.
Definitely,
Yeah.
like we need to get 2 more actually. But
This has been fun.
This has been fun. I am so pumped. We're just at the precipice of this trip with each other, a learning experience for all three of us. Hopefully we can raise some money. We've already raised money, thousands of dollars for charity, which is cool.
Let's go.
I've never done anything like that in my life, and we're just at the beginning. And I'm very excited. So I am Nico.
I'm Will.
I'm Jack.
And we are out and about.
Cheers to you,
Cheers,
boys,
guys.
and cheers to you at home.
Is it because we finished the beers, huh? Is that what it is?
No, I still got a beer in there.
Oh, okay. We have 40 more days, right?
That was fucking dope.
I enjoyed it so much.
See how easy it is when you get in the flow of conversation,
shit,
like how
I
satisfying
love
it
that.
is. Yeah.
You should keep on your mic though, just for the record.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, it's cool.
But it is, yeah, and we can throw stuff and anything like this as background for any voiceovers or just throw in the clip, at any video or something
I
like
think
that.
we're gonna have some good.
But now I
voiceovers.
know
straight up
Stuff there.
talking about important stuff.
Now I know
is-
where to cut off the podcast.
How long was that?
That was like an hour and 15, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, hour 15.
I feel.
Hour 14.
I thought it was.
That's a
it's
good length for my podcast, which is it's usually between an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean that was fun, dude. Podcasting I find it incredibly easy. Being a fly on the wall, we were just a fly on the wall today for Tim Ferriss's podcast. But that's essentially what podcasting is people are a fly on the wall for like great conversation.
Yeah. What if we?
That was fucking sick, guys.
I enjoyed it. I hella enjoyed it. I think that's a great activity to do every single day.
See why I love that
I
shit?
feel like too, like
I know more about you because for some reason
After-
we're like,
we just.
I guess we're
like,
focused,
why
right?
do you
Yeah.
feel like so much more open with the mic? Because usually I feel like it's the opposite.
huh?
It's just we enjoy our
Once you get going though, yeah.
I enjoy my quiet time. You know what I mean? I enjoy
Yeah.
listening instead of talking.
I feel like this was
throughout the day.
therapeutic too, like with us being in an enclosed space.
It's very, very. We feel safe, right?
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, we can
Yeah.
see
I think-
fish.
I think. Well, I feel very
I
safe.
feel
Yeah.
Did you see
incredibly
those
safe.
cinder blocks?
Yeah.
As we came in,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure they have a gate out there that
Yeah.
like keeps people out. But I think we are like focused, and there's like meaning behind it. Like this is part of your brand, but there's also just like freedom to be like talking about whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know, the synergy in that conversation was really good.
No. It's
That-
very good, and I
that was
find this
fluid.
out
It was.
if you find it's not a one timer, because if you find someone who can sit there and talk to you and can doesn't sit there and say but like always has something to say, has an opinion. Which I've had the guess. Yeah, and it's been really hard. I've had the guess, and it's been
I do.
difficult to keep those going, like just to get them to an hour.
Yeah.
But like we're gonna be talking all night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you find someone like that, and I started with Sandy,
Yeah.
and we only started it because we knew that we could talk about
Talk for-
like just keep going
Talk in circles
forever
for-
and ever
for
and
days.
ever. So like when you
We
find
should
something like
talk
that,
about
it's
some good fucking shit too.
it's
Like I feel
so
like it was,
much fun to podcast. Like this is
Yeah.
my podcasting. If this could be my full-time job, and it could be, that's a possibility. But if
This
I
made me
could
feel
do
a
this,
little,
like
this made me feel a
like,
little more
I will
alive
help you
today.
do that.
like this would be my
This-
choice.
This made me feel a little more alive today.
yeah.
Like
just
no,
in the
like no shit.
just in
like,
the day.
This just like this fluidness and like it's like I feel like the first time we did it, like ripping off the Band-Aid, and I feel like as soon as like we got like halfway through, I started to feel like probably more comfortable. But like this, like I was just like, let's go, let's jump into this.
It's good. You got to have a good person across from you, a good conversation partner, and we have 3 of them right here.
We also had time to reflect on what's been going on.
Like we talk about the shit that's going on. Talk about
On our trip.
shit that's like bothering each of us, or like
yeah.
things each of us
There was
personally.
very similar-
And then
very
good,
similar
and then
ones.
We are.
good, and then good jokes, and then like we had like a good.
I didn't
felt
even
like we had a
know
good dynamic.
that's what I was afraid of was until you said the 10-year thing. I was like,
Shit.
I'm like on the double compound of fear with that, like doing something I hate because of that fear.
Yeah, it's like 10 years, but like almost honestly like 10 weeks or like 10 days. It's like
Yeah.
Should I go
okay.
check the river?
Just going back because we're gonna be independent for 2 months. We're gonna be not there, and then to go back to that is like
yeah.
I get it. Like I definitely am in the same exact. We're in the same fucking boat of mindset.
Same
here.
boat.
Yeah.
right here.
Cool, man. Well, I'll kill the tech gear. We can put it all away and
Test.
test
Testes.
Maybe we'll have one more beer.
Testicle. Maybe one more beer. I don't know.
I
I don't know. We should keep
do
them around for that.
I could do 10 to 15 more beers.
Some things on the TV and yeah, keep the beers going. And,
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm down to keep this party going.
I like to party.
I like to party.
We
like to party. We
Yeah.
like to party.
We like to party.
We like to party.
Holy
keep all this in the
shit,
podcast.
we should not be together because we're just gonna feed off each other's energy too much.
No, it's great. In
But
fact, I
in
love
the
it.
perfect amount.
Yeah.
So do you think it's possible to like just wake up tomorrow morning and do it again?
Yeah.
Another pod.
I think we're good to do these, and it's not even like
Or do we have to have something like
no.
activity like in the day?
I feel like it
If we do
helps.
in the morning,
It
I
helps.
think we should pick a topic
Okay.
beforehand.
Yeah, because it helps when we've had like little things that have just happened, and we can talk
But
about
after 24 hours, I think we could.
like literally 72 hours of time.
In fact,
and
a daily
so much. We have so
reflection
much
would
to
be
talk
good,
about.
and not even to publish every
That-
day as a
that could be
podcast,
just
but
straight up for-
before the documentary that I.
We could
would
do
love
a
to make
daily.
about
We could do a daily session where we just talk about. Yeah.
Why did tonight go so well though? Just throw out some like thoughts and I'll take your notes.
I felt like everybody played a part in solving problems, so we were all more energetic when we were ready to do something that's fun and
We
just
were all
like settled.
vulnerable about
And
our
vulnerable.
fears. Yeah. We also all get along in like a social setting, like you know what I mean. Like we're not three strangers,
Yeah.
which is nice. We're on something that also makes it great is like we're all in an unknown. We're on a crazy adventure that none of us have ever done the likes of before.
Yeah, so we're all kind of experiencing that. In
Okay.
The same,
Our
in the same
spirits
way.
are like are open right now, which is cool.
Anything else that was good for us? Like
Just
why
the
did
absolute energy.
Fuck.
okay, let's talk about energy though. So where do you get energy from? Obviously,
Food.
alcohol right now and food is like, hey, like that makes us have a good time.
I get energy from the fact that we're on an adventure. We're,
Okay.
like, looking
Like
out
I
into the
literally wake
unknown,
up and I'm
excited
like, I
about it.
want to like, let's go.
That's a deep one. Then that at any point in time, then we should be able to do it.
It's like-
Because I have that
yeah.
same feeling. It's like
It's-
if you
this
are
is
telling
straight
me we're
up
gonna put a
adventure.
podcast, like, and I'm gonna put up all this stuff, like, yeah, I'm ready to talk about whatever you want.
This is an adventure in more ways than one too, because, dude, okay, first off, we all got in a fucking RV that's 30 years old. We really don't know.
She's only 28.
What?
That we
She's older
re-
than
but
me?
hey, but that we really don't know how it even operates. Like we're still learning shit.
We figured out
today.
an hour ago how to
Then
empty
we're
the
also
tanks.
going on the adventure of starting a podcast. We're also going on the adventure of the Instagram,
Yeah.
the YouTube brand, the raising $1 million. Like we are going on so many adventures all at once, and I fucking love it. Like
Okay.
I love.
I would do this every night. If you guys want to end every night, not end every night, but
Well,
do
we're
a pod,
doing it for the next.
do a podcast
50 something.
every single night, or just we don't even have to call it podcast. Like chill and have a good conversation.
Well, I think a podcast is perfect because you.
Can't do a podcast every night though.
Why not?
But we can sit and have a great conversation every night and record it.
Why don't we? Yeah, we record
Because
it
we'll
and
catch
then,
we'll catch some gems.
Yep. Bingo.
Yeah.
And
Bingo,
then,
bango,
and then you
bongo.
put that out there for whatever you need. Like you're looking at whatever
Dub
the
over
Instagram
some-
is. It's like, okay, well,
Put
hold
clips.
on. Last night's clips was incredible. And then there's like every 3 days or so, there's like one of my edits that is
Yeah.
like, holy shit. And then there's just
God, this
whatever
is
the
fun
the
as shit.
authentic. I'm just gonna film
This-
with my camera.
Yeah.
This is
You're vlogging.
this has felt like the most authentic I've been like my entire life.
Love it.
Like,
Will,
fuck,
Why?
I've been faking
this is
my
gonna be for
entire
the recording.
life.
Will, put your shirt on. Will, stop it.
I just want to take.
There's no rules. There's one rule.
So I think I was just overthinking it, but it's like, okay, because tonight we are having a good time, does the fact that we all worked out an hour before this and ate and we're drinking play a factor? Does the fact that we listened to the podcast
We
and
all
we
had similar mindsets.
actually, yes. So when I was writing these things down, I was like, all right, this is us, whatever, these notes. What about the audience? So we got to think about the audience.
we do have to think about
The
the audience.
content that we gave, the context, content, the actual
Get your workout
the
in.
show notes that we would have from tonight's podcast came from where? And this is not a question of like, can we repeat every day? It's just like, what do we want the show notes to be?
I want to keep that same.
We could do it every day,
energy
as long
on
as we
every
know
pod.
what the show notes could be, or whatever. If there's a target, and we want to talk about COVID and like kids, right? And then
Dude,
there's
but
just
that was
like
the
all
thing.
these conversations around it.
That was the thing today, to where we didn't even like pick a topic, and we just ended up kind of on fear, which was like it was so authentic in that natural feeling too. Because I don't know if I necessarily, now that Nico's like, now that we had like something like that.
Where did the fear come from?
Where
though,
it was
that conversation?
where it was so free flowing. Now that you say like, dude, I don't know if I want to do like guideline, like outlines of what the show is supposed to be, because that felt so authentic, and the energy towards it just naturally free flowed to that was.
I
like,
think if we're gonna do a good conversation, like let's not even call it a podcast. If we're gonna do a great conversation every night, we should start with the days
fireside
events.
chats.
The days events. Like, you know what did we do today? And then it's
we
always
talk-
just feeds off of that. Like that's how we started this thing today. Is like what we were doing, where are we, and we're gonna be switching those most days. Those answers.
There's a
in
lot
those
to
events.
talk about when you're living in a.
And
in a
that's how we
home that
fed off
moves.
of that. We fed off of that into more conversation.
Yes, you're both right. I also just want to throw in like, what is the audience like? What would work where the audience is like raving about us? Because if you're serious about, hey, I want to do this for a life and a profession, you need to get them to be like, the fact that I listened to that podcast, like, I am
Moved them?
yeah, I moved them.
I felt
And
like
what
we
you were
had-
talking about, you fucking moved me, and I know you're gonna move them on camera.
I know.
What else? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Maybe we should all come to each podcast, or maybe one
Come
person
to
per.
each podcast with 3 good questions.
We'll-
Cool.
That's
You're gonna
an
write
easy-
them down, throw them
that's-
on a note card, and just like
That's an easy.
leave them on
That's
there.
an easy thing to do.
Can we?
Or an
each-
idea or something, just something you want to talk
And
about.
it can be.
If it gets in there organically,
Boom.
great.
Yeah.
If it's like I'm forcing this shit and we're just gonna completely go 90 degrees, just wait.
Can we each come to each podcast with a lesson learned? It doesn't have to be from the day. It
I
can
like
be
that.
from life. And then whoever is able to work it into the natural conversation will explode
Just-
off of that.
Yeah.
And the beauty of that is, I don't even have to tell you if I'm talking about the lesson I learned.
Yeah, you don't. You
I can
literally
write
don't.
that
You
down,
rat
and you don't even
bastard.
know.
You rat bastard.
Can we do that every
you.
day? And it
That
can be
looks good.
from life.
Yeah.
From life, a
Yeah.
lesson that
Life.
you learned.
And for the most part, I feel like it's gonna happen from this trip.
Yeah. So we start with a conversation about how the day is going, or what we've done today, and then it will go from there. And whoever is able to work it in, don't force your shit in when we're talking on a subject.
Yeah.
Whether you know it's someone else's or not. But if you're like, yeah, but that reminded me of like doing this exact same thing at this time in my life, and then, you know what I mean? So like, we should all come to the table with a lesson learned, because we've all learned
I dig
a
that.
fuck ton of lessons.
Yeah,
in
we'll
our
have
life.
to come up with like little segments too. I mean, I feel like every successful podcast does it. We don't necessarily have to, but like, I think that's like a good thing to do.
It could even be cool if you're writing a lesson that you've learned, and then I am like, I'm pretty sure I know something about that. Like, tell me more about
Yeah.
it. So then I can be
Boom.
like, ask you,
Chime in.
tell me more about it, or like give you a good question for it.
Absolutely, because each lesson that we've each learned, we've probably related to it in some way in our lives in a different scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm like, oh, I learned this lesson because I broke up with this girl or something, you're like, oh, dude.
God, I miss her.
Yeah, God, I fucking miss her. But you know what I mean? Like, we've all probably run
This
into
would have
that
been such a
same
good live
same
tag.
situation. Same
Mr.
situation. Yeah.
Oh well.
Uh,
Hell yeah.
Cool. So what we've done and reminders of lessons.
so everyone
That's
come to the
that's
table
easy.
with a lesson.
That's baller.
Yeah.
I dig
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, like yesterday I was, or not even yesterday, I was.
What day is it? Like, for real though.
No, I look up at the books because I
Dude,
did the 5-minute journal
Do we
this
want a
morning.
calendar?
That'd be cool.
It'd be nice for like goals and stuff, but I don't know if I necessarily want to like
I kind of
be
like losing
so
track of
attuned
days.
to days.
There's something like this is more on my calendar, where it's like just write in your journal every day.
Yeah.
Ashley gave me this before I left, and then she's doing one, and I just, even if I'm not texting her, I just send her a picture of what I wrote.
Dope.
That's
Because
nice.
I just completely don't care about having my phone.
Dude, like having talking to someone or like having long distance like in a lifestyle like this right now, like that's tough. And like we're constantly doing shit too. Like
We are.
there are
I was driving
problems.
for
There
2
are,
hours.
you're either driving or you're
Trying
working
not
on
to die in the
editing
back of this thing.
or you're creating content or you're solving a problem.
Yeah.
And like when even right now when we've just been chilling doing
We
the
just wanna
podcast
chill.
and like this literally was our chill sesh. Like
Yeah.
it was just us talking
I
on
want
a
to be
microphone.
here for it. I don't want to
Yet-
be there for it.
Yet
you know?
it was still
But-
yet it was still work, right? Like we were
Yeah.
still
We're still doing
we're
something. We
doing
gotta be
this
present here.
for the purpose and whatnot. You
Mhm.
know, it wasn't.
But you had like 5 minutes where you called your parents, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it was like, okay,
those
I
are
saw that.
going to be essential.
I saw that.
It's the 5 minutes
I'm
we can
incredibly
steal.
close with my parents and
Yeah,
family.
you
Yeah.
do.
You and your dad
You
are
are,
homies.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, me and my dad are homies. Me and
Greg.
my mom are homies. Like,
What up, Greg? What
Yeah.
up, old Greg?
that's why I'm so comfortable with my house. Like, my parents are fucking awesome.
I think you should appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, and I like being there. I just fear the future, right?
Yeah. Yeah, at some point, I always think of, like, how male lions are, like, kicked out of their pride at such a young age.
Big
And then
lions
then
guy.
if they come back, they're like, you know, they're a rival if they come back to the males, they're the dad or something. So, like, they have to learn that, and they become strong fucking males or they die. And I always think about that. I'm like, man, have I not left the pride yet? Am I gonna die? You know what I mean? Like, in that fashion.
Yeah.
And so that's just like shit that goes through my head about that. But I love my parents. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah. This book, every day you write, I am grateful for 3 things. I'll just show you out what I did. A bed to sleep in, the freedom to run outside, the time I've put into video editing. Because yesterday we were doing the
We got
videos, and
all
I
of
was like,
those here.
yeah, I was like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing and showing you. And then the next question is, what would make today great? I wrote 2 videos finished and scheduled, walking for hours in a forest. I thought we would be out. But we did. We walked around.
Out and about, yeah.
Conditions, weather permitted.
Yeah, right. And then writing to others and making connections. So we made connections and we spoke on podcasts. Same.
Yeah.
And then the last question is daily affirmations, I am. And then I put an
Dude, I
incredible
hope it's-
marketer, a leader.
I hope it's nice enough to where we can get a group yoga
Always do the
session in
IMs.
soon.
Well, us 3 can do it.
Mary-
And then I can call Mariah and she can.
Mariah or
FaceTime us.
Mary would do a Zoom
Sweet.
yoga session too. She does like core power.
So I could do the same thing here as long as we have. It's really helpful if there's electricity.
Dude, I'm absolutely in love with how this all turned out though. Like honestly, like I feel like this is the perfect setup. Like
It is.
and we just free flowing and it's great. Rave reviews from one of the co-hosts.
We need a Super Bowl champ flag there.
Yeah.
I can hang out my Pat Mahomes shirt. Oh, we should just start finding more fun stuff to hang up.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like kind of wanted to do the hats
I
up
love
there
the
too, because
hats.
I figured like that would be like a nice like background too.
We
gotta Dude. put
something dope right here.
We gotta
love
get
the hats.
dice.
For when we
We
drive.
gotta get the
We
dice.
need that Ric
bro.
Flair shit.
We need the dice.
We need to start ordering
We need
stuff
a
to
disco
places we're
ball.
going to be.
Yeah.
We need to order a Ric Flair like fat head that we can put on the side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, 100. Oh, we could have just fucking put them up here.
We could.
totally put a picture.
Yeah, you can put anything up on that screen,
while
right?
we record.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Or you can put out and about up there. But I do need the computer, so
Out
we
and
need the.
about, or yeah. Well, we could do it from Nico's.
Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do need the
I just
computer.
can't do it from mine. 'cause
Delete my
mine is
history.
shit. Actually, I could probably make it my background and do it, but
Yeah, and that computer has to stay close to the camera. All of it has to be like relatively next to each other. Unless we had 20-foot extension cords. All right, give me 5 minutes to break this down, and we're chilling.
does that mean no music?
No, you can put